Exciting news for the story mode in Mortal Kombat 1. How does Raiden have lightning powers even though he's human? Well, we find out here. In the trailers, Kung Lao's hat isn't very sharp. Does he ever get the sharp hat back? We're gonna find out today. And it's all courtesy of a recent interview with Ed Boon, the creator of the series himself. I just banged the table. Hope it didn't sound too bad on the mic. But anyway, I'm covering Mortal Kombat 1 news on this channel all the time, pretty much daily at this point. So if you want to make sure that you stay up to date on Mortal Kombat news, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please show your support with a like down below. It helps the channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's get started. This interview comes from Game Reactor, and Ed Boon tells us a lot of cool stuff about Mortal Kombat 1.
Sometimes similar roles, sometimes dramatically different roles. Raiden was always the Thunder God. He was the elder statesman, teaching all the Mortal Kombat characters, what is right and wrong. Now he is the young, kind of like Liu Kang was, like almost like a Shaolin monk working in the fields. When you first see him, he doesn't have electricity powers. There's a lot of origin story stuff. You see how Raiden became how he is.
Okay, so how cool is that? We know for a fact now that Raiden does not start off with his lightning powers. They're not natural to him, which is what I thought would be the case. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat for Pete's sake. Liu Kang can throw fireballs, like why is he able to do that? I assumed that he just learned how to do it, and even in Mortal Kombat 1, it's implied that Smoke learned how to use magic. He was not born with it. However, through specific training, he taught himself how to use magic, and I find that really cool. And how about Rain? The guy can just control water, right? So some people just have innate powers, or they can learn how to use magic, and I assumed that was the case for Raiden. Even though he's no longer a god in Mortal Kombat 1, I still assumed that having lightning powers was like his innate gift. But apparently that might not be the case, because as Ed Boon implies here, it seems like Raiden is gifted his lightning powers. Maybe Liu Kang gave them back. Let me know in the comments down below. Make your voices heard. I really do read every single comment, so let me know down below, how do you think Raiden's going to get his lightning powers? Is Liu Kang going to teach him how to use lightning through specific training, or does he still have the lightning powers from MK11 and he gives them back? What's gonna happen in Mortal Kombat 1? How does Raiden get his lightning powers?
You see how Kung Lao got his hat,
So that's really cool too. I was worried that Kung Lao just would not have the sharp hat for the entire game and would play more like Liu Kang used to. And if that happened, honestly, I was gonna be okay with it, because I would just pretend that's how the great Kung Lao fought. And as a result, his descendant is going to fight similar if you don't give him the sharp hat. But now it's confirmed that he does eventually get his sharp hat, which honestly might be for the better, especially if you're a Kung Lao fan. Let me know in the comments down below. Would you have hated him to not have his sharp hat? Or would you actually have enjoyed a change of pace and a new moveset for Kung Lao? Let me know down below. I think I would have been okay with either one, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of change, so I think if Kung Lao never got the sharp hat, that would have been super interesting.
How our Mortal Kombat story is being told. It is, resetting the universe. Liu Kang literally creates a big bang, and there is a reintroduction of all of the characters.
So we called it. It was actually a big bang in that initial reveal trailer with the tiny grain of sand, and I think that's why things are so different. I've seen some people in the comments asking, how is Liu Kang able to make Mileena and Kitana biological sisters? How did he make Kung Lao and Raiden grow up together? And the simple answer is, I don't think Liu Kang controlled any of that. I think a lot of the changes from the Big Bang are random. Kind of like when Flash went back in time in the DC comics and changed one thing, but that had a butterfly effect that changed a bunch of things. Even things before he made that change were affected. It was kind of like a sonic boom, but for time. There were ripples across time and space that changed a bunch of things. I think it's similar in Mortal Kombat 1, where Liu Kang recreated everything, and as a result, there are some random changes that were out of his control. However, with that said, of course, there are some things that Liu Kang can control, right? Like Liu Kang can try and stop Shao Kahn from taking over Outworld. He can try to help the great Kung Lao win the Mortal Kombat tournament, right? He can definitely intervene in some ways, but he's not the reason why Sub-Zero and Scorpion are brothers.
Use whichever cameo character you want to help you out during your combat. Do you sort of use these links between them, or their relationship in the story to sort of recreate that when they help you out? Do they say something, or?
Yeah, they're gonna be making comments during the fight, and some of them are references to the relationship that they have with each other. So there's
Oh, that's really cool. I did not expect that. I never thought the characters would have unique dialogue based on how you pair them up. That's super cool and interesting. And it's one of those things that had it not been in the game, I would have been completely okay with it. But now that I know it's in the game, I'm going to be looking for it. If I pair Reptile up with Chameleon, what unique dialogue do they have? It sounds so interesting. It's gonna be a lot of fun to just mix and match the characters and see what they say. You know how YouTube is flooded with the intro dialogues from Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11? Now imagine that, but with the cameo characters and how they interact with the main character. That sounds really cool, and I look forward to watching that stuff.
have a good understanding of these new relationships that they form. You know, some of them before them they might have been, you know, enemies, and now they're allies, and vice versa. And
We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen characters who used to be friends and are now enemies, so I'm very excited to see that. I think that Jade might be bad this time around. I think it's possible that Tanya might be good this time around. I have no idea, but I'm very curious to see what happens. I want to see which heroes are now villains, or at the very least are a bit darker.
if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, you're gonna love the story mode for sure.
And it's gonna last as long as the previous, more or less, previous story,
yeah.
story modes, almost like a movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long, very detailed story, and the ending is just crazy.
Oh my god, Onaga is going to show up at the end. How much do y'all want to bet? You know, I want to see Onaga as a playable character, or at least a fightable boss in this game. But the more I think about it, it's far more likely that they're saving him for the sequel. Because why wouldn't they? He's the perfect cliffhanger, the ultimate way to end the story mode. And for Pete's sake, we see the undead army in this game. They're in the recent trailer, so what if a bunch of things happen that all foreshadow Onaga, and then at the very end, he finally shows up? And that's going to be the hook for Mortal Kombat 2, or whatever they call it. I hope they don't call it Mortal Kombat 2, because that's going to be super confusing for poor Google. But you know what? Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think this big twist ending is going to be? Will Liu Kang actually be Shang Tsung like I theorized? Or is Onaga going to show up, or the one being, or maybe Shinnok, maybe even Quan Chi? Let me know what you think's going to happen at the end of Mortal Kombat 1, because according to Ed Boon, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy as in a multiverse sort of way, because you're getting there, right? You're doing the Marvel move here.
Crazy as in you'll see. I wish I could tell you all the details.
They definitely could do a multiverse. That's the annoying thing. And every single fictional property is trying to do a multiverse now because Marvel started it and it was extremely successful. So now pretty much every franchise is trying to do a multiverse. And after Mortal Kombat 1, they could actually have a multiverse because the new Scorpion is nothing like the old Scorpion. And the Sub-Zero in this game is Bi-Han, whereas it's Kuai Liang in the previous game. So they could definitely butt heads. So yeah, they could definitely do a multiverse, and that kind of bothers me. But judging by Ed Boon's response, hopefully that's not the case and that's not what happens. I would much rather prefer Onaga as the big reveal than a multiverse portal opening.
And what's great is it's not just JeanClaude Van Damme as Johnny Cage. We have his voice that he's going to be, you know, we're going to have his voice in there too. So it's really going to be JeanClaude Van Damme in there.
That's so cool, man. I can almost guarantee you the reason JeanClaude Van Damme did not want to be in the earlier games is because you could kill him. Whereas in this game, I think he's only a skin for the cameo version of Johnny Cage, which means yes, he can do a fatality, but you can never fatality him. And as a result, JeanClaude Van Damme never has to watch his head get ripped off on screen. He's completely safe. And I think that's why he came back.
Well, we have a new animation system that we're working with, as well as new animation talent and whatnot. So and as far as the physics, we have a brand new, we're using the later version of Unreal as well. So there's a lot big technological jumps that we're making that have affected the animations, the visuals, the lighting, that's all kind of coming together in this one game.
And I just gotta say, Mortal Kombat is always at the forefront when it comes to graphics. People can pretend to make fun of the animations all they want, but the lighting, the physics, the cloth sim, all that stuff, NetherRealm games are killing it. The blood effects, like come on. Even the characters taking damage in real time and how the blood splatters on their character correctly after punching somebody in the face is so interesting, and no game has come even close to that.
The fact that it's this new storytelling with characters players love and already know, I think it's a great combination of new versus familiar.
To any famous writers who might be watching this video, take note of Mortal Kombat 1, okay? If you're gonna reboot a series, this is how you do it, okay? Keep some things similar, but don't be afraid to change a bunch of stuff, especially if you make it clear that things are different this time around. Don't do what Hollywood is doing and pretend it's a retelling of your favorite characters, but then just change stuff and insult the viewer. It's okay to make things brand new and different, but if that's going to be the case, let the player know that from the get-go. Alright everyone, that's about it for the interview. One last time, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make your voices heard. I really do read every single comment you post. And then while you're down there, go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And finally, finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.